What is your current age?
I am 22 years old.
What is your sex?
I am a male.
What is your sexual orientation?
I like women.
What is your race?
I am a Latino.
What is your current relationship status?
I have a girlfriend.
What is your current job?
Right now, I work at Friedman's Home Improvement.
Where do you currently live?
I live in Petaluma, California.
Who do you currently live with?
I live with both my parents and 5 siblings.
Where were you born?
I was born Southern California in a small town called Moreno Valley by Los Angeles.
Where did you grow up for the first half of your life?
I grew up in Jalisco, Mexico,
How about the second half?
in Petaluma, California.
What is your dad's highest education level?
My dad's highest education level is sophomore year.
What is his current occupation?
He's a landscaper.
What is your mom's highest education level?
I think her highest education level is 6th grade.
What is her current occupation?
She's just a stay-at-home mother.
Now I'm going to ask you some questions about your family, culture, and background. What types of jobs did your dad have when you were growing up?
In Mexico, we had a ranch and we would milk cows and have chickens and stuff.
How did you view that when you were little?
I didn't mind it. It was just our way of surviving, kind of. That's how we would get money to buy food and live. So I think it was great. Not too great, but great. But good enough.
What was your dad's role in the household when you were growing up?
Well, my dad's role was, I don't know this one. Become, well, he was just the one that would bring the money to the family.
What were some things your dad would usually do around the house?
He usually only does like fixing things up when something goes wrong at home, but usually he's outside of working.
How did you see that when you were little?
I would just see him as a really hard worker that would try to make our lives be better.
What was your mom's role in the household when you were growing up?
My mom's role would probably just be the one that would take care of all of us and to be there for us at all times, and in case we needed anything, or the one we could go for when we had questions or needed help with anything.
What were some things your mom usually did around the house?
Well, my mom did everything pretty much in the house, like cooking, cleaning, take care of us, and take us everywhere we had to go for school and get us ready and all that, pretty much.
How did you view all those things when you were growing up?
I viewed it as like a really good way of being. I really appreciated everything she did for us.
What were some values your parents taught you?
My parents taught me to be kind, to be generous, also to be honest and try to help out the others as much as we could. And no matter how bad your situation is, someone else could have it worse.
Who mainly taught you those values?
It was mainly, I guess, my mother's, because I would spend more time with her than my dad, because she would be the one at home.
Can you give an example of a specific value you might remember when you were little?
Um, let's see. Like when we would go to the park, we would see a homeless person that looked hungry. We would go and buy them some food.
What were some values you think directly related to being a boy or man when you were growing up?
I feel like the values that are more related to being a boy or a man is that you need to be more. How can you say it? You need to be strong and like confident of everything, and make sure you take care of the other siblings and be like the role model.
Who mainly taught you those values?
It's half and half between my dad and my mom. I can't really remember.
Can you give an example of something you remember them teaching you?
They would always teach me to work hard, either at school and at work, so that I could become a better me and be able to help out the family whenever my parents couldn't.
Alright, now I'm going to ask you some questions about you growing up. What were some games you would mainly play with your guy friends?
I would play soccer and some video games.
Why do you think you played that with the guys?
Because that's my favorite sport, and that's pretty much all we could do, like the easiest or like more. I don't know. I just like soccer a lot and video games.
Why do you think soccer became your favorite sport?
I don't know. Maybe it's just the sport that a lot of kids start to play over there in Mexico. It's one of the easiest sports that you can just grab a ball and just start playing wherever you are, either in the streets or on actual field, like at school.
Were there times in school that you got divided into boy and girl groups?
I don't remember that. Maybe for a couple of games.
How did your school look during recess regarding boys and girls? Like, what would they be doing?
Most of the time, all the boys would be playing soccer or other sports like that, and all the girls would just be together talking or hanging out.
Why do you think the boys and girls divided a lot during recess?
Maybe because boys just wanted to do different things than the girls.
Can you remember things that you would compete with other kids in?
I would compete with kids during different sports, and also around, like, in math class when we would do timed quizzes to see who would finish the fastest.
Who would you mainly compete with?
I would just compete against the other student that I would think would be like on my level.
Alright. In high school, what do you think were some things girls focused on?
I think girls in high school mostly focused on Um, well, it depends. There was like various types of girls. Some just focused on trying to look good. Others focused on school, and others just focused on sports, and just there's various different types.
Um, in regards to school and how they look, why do you think they focused on that?
Can you repeat the question again?
Why do you think some girls focus on how they looked and their school performance?
I guess it's just of how they were taught and what they wanted to have throughout their life, like what they were more interested in. I guess it came from their home.
Okay. For guys, what do you think are things that guys focused on in high school?
I think guys focused a lot to be just with their group of guy friends, also to play sports during school. Others just to try to make their education worth it and try to pass all their classes.
Why do you think some boys focused on in sports, stuff like that?
I guess it just came down from their past, from becoming kids and playing since when they were little.
School performance wise, do you think there was a difference between boys and girls in your high school?
I feel like it was pretty even. There's a lot of boys and girls in all classes that did pretty good or bad.
Okay, now I'm going to talk to you about the meaning of masculinity.
Okay.
What does being a man mean to you? What comes to mind?
Being a man means to me that I have to be strong and have to have like it means that I have to be like a role model kind of thing, kind of like taking care of the younger people, siblings or anything like that. Just gonna take charge of the household.
Can you give an example of something that might mean a man to you?
It could be like always needing to have to like try to solve the problems in the family, or have the ability to sustain the family.
What do you think has influenced your meaning of being a man?
I think probably my dad has influenced that, and I guess society as in all, especially probably in the Latino culture.
What are some qualities that come to mind when you think of an alpha male?
Of an alpha male, he's a leader. He knows what he's doing. He can help out in a lot of people and all their problems. And it's a strong, independent person.
What do you think these qualities represent as a whole?
They represent someone that you could look up to.
Can you give an example of where you might see an alpha male in your life? Like, where have you seen like an alpha male?
An alpha male, I would probably have seen it just in all households where all their family and children has been um, living a good life without many or any problems in economic or mental.
What are some qualities that describe masculinity to you?
Um, I would probably think the same as being a man, which would be just to be uh, strong, mentally strong, and independent kind of way.
What are some masculine qualities you think you have?
Um,
So anything that basically shows you being a man.
um, being a man, I guess. Besides mm, being a male, I guess it would be that I can take care of my family, and I am responsible for helping out economically or with any problems.
Why do you think those are things a man should do or should have, in your opinion?
I think I think a man should be able to do this kind of things because I think that's how I saw my dad go through and other uncles and like other people around my society.
All right. How do you think you show your masculinity to other men?
I don't. I really don't know how I actually show it to other men. I would probably just see it as being able to do many things to help out others.
When you're with your guy friends, are there like things you do with them just to show off that you're like a man or strong or something like that?
I really don't do any of that, like anything to show off I'm strong or I'm like a man because we don't really go and show off on those kind of things.
How do you think you show your masculinity to other women?
My masculinity to other women would be um, I just I'm just big do myself and be act like how I am, and if it shows being masculinity, then I guess it's good.
What does femininity mean to you?
Femininity means that you you have a lot more to talk about and have many reasons for things to happen and how things should go.
Do you think you have any feminine qualities?
Um, I guess at certain times I would have some feminine qualities, as in trying to figure out how things are in certain situations and talking in a different way. Then,
What are some things you think of when you think of girly or a girl?
um, when I think of a girl, I think of the color pink and makeup. And I guess of always trying to be right.
All right. Do you think you try to avoid showing weakness or emotions to other men?
I guess I do try to avoid showing weakness and emotion, not just to men, but to a lot of people.
Why do you think that? Or why do you do that?
To not be. To not try to be seen as someone weak, and people have sympathy for me.
Have you showed weakness or emotions to other women?
I probably have to my girlfriends.
Why do you think it was kind of easier for you to show it to them?
I guess I was more comfortable talking to them.
So why do you think it's different sharing that type of stuff between men and women?
I guess you can never know how one can judge you over another.
Okay, now I'm going to ask you some questions about your future. What is your ideal career when you grow up?
Oh, I want to become a CPA accountant.
Why?
I've always been directed and interested in like numbers and business type of things.
What do you think influenced that interest?
I think my brother influenced that because he got a major in business administration, and I really liked what he was doing in life.
All right. What are some jobs you think of when you think of men? What are some jobs men have?
I think of construction. I think of more outdoor kind of things like landscaping, and well, yeah, those are the two that first come to my mind.
Why do you think that so many men have those jobs?
Maybe because they are stronger and are willing to be like more out in the outdoors more than women.
Do you think men are the main ones who apply for those jobs?
Yes, I think so.
Why?
Because I guess that has been like, I don't see why like certain like women that are sometimes weaker, not all women, but some of them that might be weaker wouldn't be able to handle lifting heavy stuff or material.
What are some jobs you think of that women mainly have?
Women have like teaching, like becoming a teacher, or doctors, or more mental things instead of physical.
Why do you think so many women go into like teaching, for example?
Because I guess they could be better at explaining and talking to students.
Do you think women are the main ones who apply for those teaching or doctor type of jobs?
I think it's a little more women than men, but almost the same.
Okay. What is your ideal family setup when you grow up?
Ideal family setup would probably just be me, my wife, and 2 or 3 kids.
Who do you think would take care of the kids more?
It would just depend on our working schedule and see who works more or who would be working at certain times.
Who do you see working more, in your opinion?
I kind of see it working equally right now. Maybe switch off, like one of either the husband or wife works in the morning or afternoon, and the other one does the other one, so they could be more to take there at home.
Is that what you want, or is that what you feel would happen just because you want to have a equal agreement?
I feel that's what I like. That's what I would want, and I feel that's how it's going to happen.
Um, is your goal to be the main income earner for your family, like bringing the most money to the household? Is that your goal?
I really don't mind if my wife would be the one bringing the most income, but I guess it would be good.
So how do you think costs would be divided at home when you have a family?
Costs divided at home would probably just be all spent towards our children and our family, home, and cars.
How do you think like the work around the house would be? Like who would do what and stuff like that?
I want it to be equally divided so that, for instance, like cooking, like one day she would do it, one day I would do it, or like cleaning as well. It would be split it off equally.
Why do you think you want everything to be divided equally from the cost and the work around the house?
Because I believe in that men and women should have equal responsibilities, either not in all, not only in providing income but also in like spending it or taking care of kids or whatever.
What are some contributions you're going to want from your partner?
In terms of what?
In terms of anything like costs, taking care of the kids.
I would
work.
just want her to contribute as much as I can contribute, or more if I can.
What are some things you're gonna want your partner to help you out with? When you think of having a family.
I want my partner to help me out in being a great father and giving the best economic life and for our children.
All right, so now thinking about your future and your goals and how you want your family to look, what do you think has influenced that in your life?
Probably all of what I've learned and gone through, and all the stories and families that I've known, and that just has piled up and make me have my decisions.
Thank you.
You're welcome.